In this video, I'm going to show you the secret funnel I built out for Patrick Bet-David that helped him generate over $300,000 in revenue while growing his email list to over 200,000 subscribers in less than 6 months. And as you can see here, obviously, Stripe screenshot from the front end offers. We have the growth of the email newsletter as a whole, and then email attributed revenue in high rows. So before I jump into exactly how this funnel works, I want to give you a little bit of a brief background in terms of who I am. So my name is Kai. I worked directly with Patrick for over 4 years. While I was there, I grew one of the channels to over 400,000 subscribers. Obviously built out a email newsletter to over 200,000 subscribers, generated north of $6 million in revenue between info products, e-commerce, and ultimately produced over 500 pieces of long-form content that I collaborated with Patrick on. As you can see, some of those are here. And then I was actually on the podcast a couple of times, this one with Roger Stone. But enough about that. Let's jump right into the secret funnel system that we utilized while at Patrick Bet-David. So what this looks like is you have a very simple pre-quiz landing page where the main outcome of this landing page is to have the person start the quiz where you're driving traffic. And then you have, as you can see here, different quiz questions people go through in the process. At the end, they get redirected to one of the 4 different outcomes. This is where they need to enter their name, enter their email, opt in, and then they get redirected to one of the final outcome pages. So the way these outcome pages work is they have a dedicated headline, dedicated subheadline, dedicated VSL, and then dedicated copy as far as the results they're getting on the quiz itself and the next desired step, which is in this case ultimately to have them buy a $39 training. On the back end of each of these landing pages, you have dedicated email sequences, which are personalized, segmented, and unique to each of the outcomes and kind of the way they've answered the quiz, which the goal here is to make it seem very personalized and not a type of generic one-size-fits-all solution. So where is like the power of a quiz, right? In terms of like, why would we use this versus other things? And one of the things that's really unique about a quiz is the power of just driving and converting traffic, especially cold traffic, broad traffic, and just getting people into your ecosystem. So one of the things we saw here was this video had 390,000 views. The call to action was click the link in bio to take the quiz. This video alone drove over 15,000 clicks and 9,500 segmented leads, as we can see here. And just looking at the landing page opt-in rate, meaning anyone who landed on the landing page in these days were well over 50% of those converted, which just goes to show of how efficient it is. And the reason for that is people love taking quizzes. They love answering questions. And what we can see here is first question has most of the drop off in terms of 25% drop off. And then beyond that, the completion rate is nearly 100% as far as once people answer one question, they're going to consistently do that until they complete the quiz. And I know what you're thinking in terms of, well, doesn't this sound complicated? Why wouldn't somebody just do a normal funnel, right? Or a lead magnet funnel or a book a call funnel? Well, what I've done is I've kind of laid out the different types of funnels, how they work, and the pros and the cons, and we'll go through them. So first, you have a lead magnet funnel where essentially you're giving away something for free and hoping to get someone's email, right? The pros about this is it's easy to set up and it's pretty good for building a list initially, but the cons are most of your people just want the freebies and they're not really looking to buy. Second is the book a call funnel, where you're essentially driving traffic to a landing page, and the goal of that is to have them book a call. This is good for high ticket services and kind of driving sales on the back end. But the reality is most people won't book a call unless they really trust you and they're ready to buy. But the challenge with this is you might risk a lot of time wasting time on unqualified buyers, right? Next one ultimately is direct purchase funnels, where you're driving traffic and you're selling something with a checkout, Stripe link, something along those lines. The goal here is obviously to convert people. The pros of it is it's simple and it's fast to set up as far as if the offer is good and if it works. But what the challenge with this is that it doesn't really convert as well with cold traffic because, again, most people visit, but they don't buy, which is why typically you could see on the high end like a 2 to 3% conversion rate, and it could be much lower. So the majority of the traffic you're sending to the website, you're not capturing them, you're not getting them into your ecosystem, they click on your landing page and they disappear and they're gone forever, right? Now, how does a quiz funnel differ with this, right? So a quiz funnel, essentially, you're asking people questions to give them a result or a recommendation. You learn about them and you get their email address, right? So the pros of this is it's fun, it's personal, and it makes people feel understood, which is a cornerstone of efficient selling. It gives you better leads because you've added some friction on the front end to really make sure that you're getting the right type of people in the door and ultimately converting the right ones. And it qualifies and understands leads before you even talk to them, right? Now, the challenges with this could be it's a little bit more complex and it takes a little bit more time to build. But from a high level, what the system looks like is you have your online traffic, and whether this is paid or organic, you have your online traffic and you're not selling them, hey, go buy this product, or hey, fill out this survey, or hey, I'm trying to pitch you, do this. Now, the benefit with this is that it lowers the trust because you're not trying to directly sell anything or get something out of them right off the bat, and you're promising a unique result, which makes it's more personal to them versus a generic one-size-fits-all. So why would they visit your website? Well, because they're going to take this quiz, right? Why do they care to take the quiz? Because they are curious and they love the component of self-discovery and wanting to learn more. Now, once they've completed the quiz, you've now captured their email and you know how to sell to them efficiently. So once people complete the quiz, first step is you've now captured their email and you push this into your newsletter or your CRM. And more importantly, what you do is you now gather the data and ultimately you guide them. This is where a quiz is extremely unique because it's no longer a one-size-fits-all. It's no longer throwing everyone to the same generic website. Now it's customized and it's personalized to the journey that the person goes through. Now, there's a couple different ways this could work. You could send them to different offers depending on the qualification levels they have. You could send them to the same offer, but highlight different components of it. Or if it's a qualification funnel of some sort, what you can do is the people who are qualified, you can pitch them the product, and the people who are not qualified, you can just send them free content. Because where this is extremely unique is the component that you're taking your social media traffic from the top of funnel and you're pushing them into your own ecosystem, where in the process, you're learning their pain points, their archetypes, their qualifications, and their price points, which is extremely powerful as you push them into the offer consideration stage, which is where you can push them to different offers, the same offer, or based on what they're qualified in. And where this really differs, the analogy I always give is think of this as a sales rep that somebody goes into the store to talk to, right? Where they say, hey, I'm John Doe. I have this pain point. I'm this archetype, and this is what I'm willing to spend. What do you recommend, right? So instead of saying, oh, this one product is a perfect fit for everyone and everyone should get this, now it becomes more of a fluid process of, hey, John, what you told me is you have this pain point, you have this archetype, and this is your budget range. What I recommend is this or this, right? It becomes a lot more of a consultative approach of selling compared to a hard push, one-size-fits-all solution, right? And this is why once people get to the decision-making stage, conversion rates increase because you're taking what they told you and you're basically saying, hey, based on what you told me, here's the recommendation for what I offer that makes the most sense and how I can ultimately help you get to the goal or overcome the pain point that you're currently having, right? Now, a big component of this is taking your borrowed traffic, pushing it into your owned, and then also utilizing paid traffic to push it into your own. Because the thing about building a business in 2025 is it's impossible to grow without email, because relying solely on social media, whether it's through organic content or paid ads, it means you're building on rented land. What does this mean, right? Platforms control your reach. Platforms shift algorithms without giving you a heads up. They make it increasingly more expensive to stay visible. So if you're not turning that traffic into email subscribers, you're not going to be able to fully scale. Like, it's impossible. You're going to hit a level where you can't move beyond that because you don't own the traffic, right? And unlike social media, email gives you direct, reliable access to your audience. You're not at the mercy of CPMs or CTRs or a feed you don't control. And the crazy thing is, it works because email engagement is nearly 6 times higher than that of organic social reach. And for every $1 you spend on email marketing, you can expect a return up to $42. That's why the smartest people don't just chase attention, they capture it, because they understand that an email list is the only real asset they own. You can't export YouTube subscribers. You can't export the people who saw your Meta ads. You can't export your TikTok followers. It doesn't work that way, right? Email is the only social channel you own in this social media world. 99% of people check their emails every single day. Okay, so you might be thinking, I get it, Kai, email is important, but why a quiz? Why not just push people straight to the email and then I can sell them from there? Well, the cool thing about a quiz is it helps you do the most important thing in email marketing, which is segmentation. Because segmentation basically means you're clustering the right contacts so you can send the right people the right message at the right time. And if you're still in question and not sure about segmentation, let me tell you a little bit about segmentation. The power of segmentation just goes to show where segmented email campaigns see a 760% increase in revenue compared to non-segmented campaigns. They have 14.3% higher open rates. They have 100% higher click-through rates. They have reduced bounce rates by 5%, meaning that you're actually getting valid emails and they're hitting the inboxes. They have almost 10% lower unsubscribe rates, right? And segmentation allows businesses to be 130% more likely to understand their target audience, which is what's needed in order to sell. Still not sure? Implementation of email segmentation results in 86% improvement of engagement rates, right? E-commerce brands using 2 segments or more earn 17 times the amount of revenue as brands who don't. The top 20% of e-commerce brands using segmentation generate 80% of total revenue. 77% of email ROI is driven by segmented, targeted, and triggered campaigns. Sending the right message to the right person at the right time is how the majority of money is made through email marketing. And that is what your quiz allows you to do. You capture the data, you understand your audience, you segment them, and you sell them the right way. And the cool thing about proper segmentation is as it scales, it remains efficient, right? This is a 40% open rate on an email that's being sent out to 136,000 people, right? Now, Patrick's not the only person using quiz funnels, right? Alex Ramosi is currently using quiz funnels in the variation of his $100 million scaling roadmap. He's currently driving most of his ad spend to it and mentioning it in pretty much every long-form organic video that he uses. Justin Welch added a quiz and utilized personalized marketing, which helped him generate an extra $650,000 by increasing his conversion rate by 60%. He asked 2 questions. First question was, how do you make your money? And second question was, what stage of business are you at? Based on this, he customized and segmented his list and sent people the right message to help them get to the next stage of where they were trying to go. Hence, his segmented emails had a 60% higher conversion rate compared to his generic non-segmented emails. Jay Klaus, he uses segmentation to drive people to the right products inside of his Creator Science Academy. We have Sahel Bloom. He used a quiz funnel to be an interactive part of selling his book, which helped him stay on the New York Times bestseller list 7 weeks in a row through the marketing of the quiz funnel. Ali Abdal, he uses a quiz funnel to segment his leads and ultimately drive them to the right tier of his YouTube part-time academy. So if they have more money, they'll be pitched a higher offer compared to the done with you or do it yourself. Lastly, we have Vincent, the founder of V-Shred. He uses quizzes to filter out body type and then sells different fitness programs depending on the body type someone has and the fitness goals they're trying to achieve. So I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you're wondering, would a quiz funnel work for my business? Maybe, maybe not. Feel free to click the first link in the description, book a time. I'd love to chat with you and see if this would be a good fit. Take care.